Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 3, Text 43. Chapter is questioned by Gura. Yunam Panam Sri Marokatanam Mahim Gush Chalaya Yatam Chamubhi Vedat Rapanarti Jihir Shanisho Api Upaikshatagram Bhagavan Gurunam Nunam Nirpanam Srimadotpakanam Mahim Ushalaya Yatham Chamuri Bada Prapanarti Jigir Shayesho Yu Aishata Ramparavan Gurunam Yunam Nirpanam Srimadotpakanam Mahushalaya Tam Champi Vadat Prapanarti Jahir Shayesho Yupaikshtakram Bhagavan Gurunam Nirganam Srimadotpatanam Mahim Ushalaya Tam Chamudi Vadat Prapanarti Jahir Shayesho Yupachataram Bhagavan Gurunam.
Namnipalam Shimadopathanam
Srimadhopathanam
Himhushchalatam Shakti
Mahimavushayatam
Bhagavanarti Jihirshayesho
Vadhaprapanati Jihirshayesho
Yupaikshitaram Bhagavan Gurunam
Yupachataram Bhagavan Gurunam
Nunam Tripanam Trimadhotpananam
Nirvanam Srimadhopathanam
Mahimuvushtalayatam Chansi
Mahimavushayatam
Adhar Prapanarthi Jihirshayesho
Vadhaprapanati Jihirshayesho
Shutaham Bhagavan Karunam
Yupachataram Bhagavan Gurunam
Nam Shimadopayantam
Nirvanam Srimadhopathanam
Mahimavushtalayatam Chansi
Mahimavushayatam
Satpanarthi Jihirshayesho
Vadhaprapanati Jihirshayesho
Yupyashtam Bhagavan Gurunam
Yupachataram Bhagavan Gurunam
Namnipalam Shimadopathanam Mahimavushtalayatam Shambhovihi Adhaprapanarthi Jihirshayesho Yupakshitagam Bhagavan Gurunam
Yupachataram Bhagavan Mahimavushayatam Vadhaprapanati Jihirshayesho Yupachataram Bhagavan Gurunam Adopatana Mahimavushayatam Vadhaprapanati Jihirshayesho Yupachataram Bhagavan
Nirvanam Shimadopathanam
Nirvanam Srimadhopathanam
Mahimavushtalayatam Chansi
Mahimavushayatam
Parat Pratnarti Jayashesha
Vatat Prananart Vedishayeshu
Piyuk Satakam Bhagavan Karunam
Upaikshatagam Bhagavan Nirnam, of course, Kripanam of the kings. 3, Mada Utpatanam, going astray out of false pride. Mahim, earth. Muhu, constantly. Chalayakam, agitating. Mubihi, by movement of soldiers. Vadat, from the act of killing. Prapanam, surrender. Arti-irshaya, willing to relieve the distress of the sufferers. Ishaha, the Lord. Api, in spite of. Aikshita, rated. Agam, offenses. Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord. Gurunam, of the Gurus. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Despite His being the Lord and being always willing to relieve the distress of sufferers, He, Krishna, refrained from killing the Gurus. Although they committed all sorts of sins, and although He saw other kings constantly agitating the earth by their strong military movements, carried out under the dictation of the 3 kinds of false pride. As declared in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears in the mortal world to execute His much-needed mission of killing the miscreants and giving protection to the suffering faithful. In spite of that mission, Lord Krishna tolerated the insult to Draupadi by the Kurus and the injustices perpetrated against the Pandavas, as well as insults to himself. The question may be raised, why did He tolerate such injustices and insults in His presence? Why did He not chastise the Kurus immediately? When Draupadi was insulted in the assembly by the Kurus by their attempt to see her naked in the presence of all, the Lord protected Draupadi by supplying an unlimited length of clothing. But He did not chastise the insulting party immediately. This silence of the Lord did not mean, however, that He excused the offenses of the Gurus. There are many other kings on earth who had become very proud of 3 kinds of possessions: wealth, education, and followers, and they were constantly agitating the earth by movements of military strength. The Lord was just waiting to get them together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them all at one time, just to make a shortcut in His killing mission. Godless kings or heads of state, when puffed up by advancement of material wealth, education, and increase of population, always make a show of military strength and give trouble to the innocent. When Lord Krishna was personally present, there were many such kings all over the world, and He thus arranged the battle of Kurukshetra. In His manifestation of Vishvarup, the Lord expressed His mission of killing as follows: I have willingly descended on the earth in the capacity of inexorable time in order to decrease the unwanted population. I shall finish all those who have assembled here except you, Pandavas. This killing does not wait for you to take part in it. It is already arranged. All will be killed by me. If you want to become famous as the hero of the battlefield and thus enjoy the booty of war, then, O Satyashachi, just become the immediate cause of this killing, and thus take the credit. I have already killed all the great warriors, Bhishma, Drona, Jayadratha, Karna, and many other great generals. Do not worry. fight the battle, and be famous as a great hero. Bhagavatam 11:32-34. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text 32. The Lord always wants to see his devotees as the hero of some episode which he himself performs. He wanted to see his devotee and friend Arjuna as the hero of the battle of Kurukshetra, and thus he waited for all the miscreants of the world to assemble. That and nothing else is the explanation of his waiting. Maharaj, would you please speak? Thank you.
Krishna says, "You are killed." And he doesn't know it. It means that his determination is factual. It's not that maybe it'll happen. Whoever he decides happen, and he controls the future and the present and the past. He had already decided that these persons were going to be punished. So, in one sense, that's already a fact, that's already done, because he's decided. Then someone might say, well, why is he going through the motions of trying to convince them not to behave improperly? Like Krishna did when he went to meet the Kurus and try to convince them to give Yudhishthira and the other Pandavas back their kingdom. Why did he do that if he already killed them? Of course, it's not easy to understand the mind of the Lord. So he has so many things going on, so many functions he fulfills at one time. And they're filled with such amazing ways. But it's true that if they had a chance to listen to him and follow his instructions, and they wouldn't have had to be killed. And this is, for philosophers, this is difficult to understand. How is it that on one hand, God gives free will, on the other hand, it seems that he knows what it is, it's already planned out, which is which. Either he does know or he doesn't know. Or he's in control or he's not in control. But you can't dictate to the Lord how he does things. So we can appreciate that he has a unique way that only he can do of controlling everything and at the same time giving the beings his free will to choose as they wish. And he responds to their activities. If they change their behavior, change their consciousness, and he's, like in the case of Jaya and Maya, they had already attacked Nityananda, they were already performed so many symbolic activities. Their future was very dark, but they changed. By the mercy of the devotees, the mercy of Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, playing as a devotee, they changed their behavior and their consciousness, and they became great devotees of the Lord. All the suffering was over. Krishna says, Sarvadharma Parityajya Amekam Sharanam Sarvabhakya Om Shai Shai Mash. Abandon all varieties of religion and discernment to me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions to now. So this Krishna's amazing grace. Even in the Christians recognize that amazing grace of the Lord. But I was a wretched person. I was doomed. I deserved it, but still somehow by his grace, glorified because he keeps doing things like this. He gives them free will, and when they make the right decision, when they follow him, then all is forgiven. Like Lord Ramachandra, even after Ravana had performed so many heinous acts and offenses against Sita and all the other devotees, still he said, if he changes, if he surrenders now, then my friend will be no more fighting, no more hostility. That's a great personality. He can forgive so fully that the person becomes his dear associate.
Thank you, Maharaj. Chakshu Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Despite his being Lord and being always willing to relieve the stress of sufferers, he, Krishna, refrained from killing the Kurus, although they committed all sorts of sins, and although he saw their kings constantly agitating the earth by their strong military movements, carried out under the dictation of three kinds of false pride. And Maharaj was saying we can't try to attempt to understand the mind, the activities of Krishna, unless we're given the mercy to understand that, the eyes to understand that. Pramanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena. He gives us the eyes to see his wondrous pastimes, his form, and he also grants us understanding. Tesham satatayutanam bhadatam kriti purvakam. But we must execute devotional service in order to come to that understanding, in order to gain that intelligence that's waiting for us. Bhakti mama vijananti yavanyash chasmin tatvataha. So Krishna, if we render service to him, then he will grant us that vision. He will give us all the knowledge in which we can come to him. And that's, you'd say, one of the goals. We want to come to him so we can serve him however he would like us to serve him. That's, we can attain that prema, that according to the 9 processes of devotional service, we are able to go step by step by step in order to receive that love of God that's not encumbered by any desire for fruit of gain or free of mental speculation, brought about by misconceptions we have and doubts we have. Yeah, so we hear today in questions about Vidura. Vidura is talking, he's asking these questions. Where is Kunti Devi? Where is all the Pandavas? What are they doing? How are they doing? And then he's explaining his situation. Dhritarashtra kicked me out of his house, now I'm a roaming pilgrim. And so now we're coming to understand, he's revealing something, he's revealing some knowledge about Krishna. That Krishna is acting on his own platform. He's directing the wanderings of all living entities, and he's deciding when living entities will leave a certain body or take birth in a certain body. It's all his orchestra and he's the conductor of this orchestra. Sometimes he's conducting it through one of his energies. He has multiple energies that are orchestrating so many things in this universe. But the main three energies that are existing is his internal energy, which is the spiritual energy, marginal energy, and then material energy. So we are part of that marginal energy, or Tatashta Shakti, which means that we're subjected to we're subjected to the material energy, Krishna's material energy coming from him, and it's always suggesting us to do certain things, and it's always allowing us to fulfill the desires that we have. Someone might question, oh, okay, I have God is giving this person one thing and giving this person another thing. One seems bad and the other seems good. Why is he doing that? Or, I've done good things in my life, I've been practicing, but still these calamities, these bad things are coming my way. Well, we can understand that it's not the Lord's fault for putting this machine into motion. It's our fault for desiring these things that have repercussions. So there's just like the government has laws and we get to reap the rewards or the punishments for those, a person in this world also, depending on the person's desires and then their actions based on those desires, they will reap the rewards from that. And it's not Krishna to blame, it's actually ourselves. We should take responsibility for the actions that we have in this world. But we are so fortunate that Krishna is giving us this mercy to understand him, to understand that we can take control of our lives in a way. We can practice devotional service, and this devotional service will free us of this sinful action. Sarvadharma prityaja mamekam sharanam vrajaham tvam sarvapapi vyomokshishami masujah. If we just surrender to Krishna, which means we practice devotional service, then all of our sinful actions will disappear, and we shouldn't have any more fear. No more fear about what kind of body am I going to take in my next life? What kind of life am I going to have if I surrender to Krishna? Am I going to be poor? Am I going to be rich? We surrender all those ideas that we might have and just try to serve Krishna. Just try to become committed in our service to Krishna, if that's book distribution or cooking for Krishna or donating foodstuffs to the temple, making flower garlands. So many services for Krishna there are. It's unlimited. Krishna is unlimited. The services we can provide to him are unlimited. But we see that Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says he's equal to all and he envies no one. But it seems that he's taking favor on his devotees. This is because Krishna is giving the devotees, giving everyone actually, in fact, the chance to take advantage of the relationship, of awakening the relationship that we have with Krishna. He's giving them a chance, and so he's giving us a chance. And so he puts that there. He says, hey, here's this relationship that you can have. Please take it or leave it. And of course, we have so many different varieties of those relationships happening all over the world. In the main religious movements, expressions, Krishna reveals himself in so many different ways to so many different people, depending on their ability to understand. But of course, if the spirit soul has a desire to try to understand Krishna Krishna will reveal himself. And sometimes even to the most downtrodden, he reveals himself. He reveals himself to those who are seeking knowledge. He reveals himself to those who are seeking wealth, because Krishna is the most rich. So he'll be willing to supply them with those opulences if that devotee is qualified to use those opulences in the service of Krishna. So Krishna, he's there for us always. He's always in our heart. He was in the heart of Draupadi. Draupadi prayed to him, and he supplied unlimited length of clothing for her. So some things that we see going on in the world, like, oh man, why is that happening? Why won't Krishna step in to take control? Well, for one, we should always understand that Krishna is always in control. There's not a time when Krishna is not in control. There's no evil Satan person who could even compete with Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no one even close to him that can try to orchestrate, bad activity. Of course, there's the perpetual fight between the demons and the demigods, the asuras and suras, those who are surrendered to Krishna and those who are unwilling to surrender to Krishna. There's always that conflict. But Krishna is above it all. He's transcendental to it all. And if he wants to insert himself in the situation, he will. He'll come to bust through a pillar and as a half man, half lion, and take out all the intestines of Hiranyakashipu. He'll do that. He'll kill him, and he'll be there for the devotee. Trying to think of that verse in the Gita. He declared boldly that the devotee never perishes. So he's saying that he's always going to protect his devotees. Always. It might not be in the way we think that situations will happen. A devotee might leave their body in an untimely way, according to our perception, or some travesty might happen that questions our faith in how Krishna is acting, but we can come to understand that Krishna is always in control. If Krishna wants to kill someone, he will, and if Krishna wants to save someone in the most interesting way, he will do that. But Krishna, he also says that he'll come to annihilate the miscreants. Paracharanayam sadhanam vinashaya chadushkritam. He'll come. He will, but it might be in the most unlikely way. Okay, I think that's all. I'll open up for questions and comments or points of discussion about this, if there's any.
I thought it was nice that Prabhupada was saying that Krishna wanted to kill all these Devanya kings all at once, so he was exhibiting a practical, he was being practical about it, that he'll just assemble them all and then finish off his work quickly. Yeah, thank you.
That and nothing else is the explanation of his waiting. So the mind can come up with so many reasons why Krishna does things. But if we're understanding it from the acharyas, what's actually happening, then we should accept that as so. And that's having faith in the disciplic succession And that's having faith in the realizations of the previous acharyas and devotees. Jagannath Prabhu, you had a comment? No? Oh, okay. You like that? So we hear of these godless kings or heads of state, when puffed up by advancement of material wealth, education, and increase of population, always make a show of military strength and give trouble to the innocent. So we can see this happening. You don't have to have some microscope to view that these godless leaders, or even those who sometimes make a show of some religion, they go to some church and there's a big procession and so on, but their language and their actions don't display the activities of a devotee of God. Even if they're not necessarily following Krishna consciousness, they might claim to be some part of some other religion, but if you read into the scripture of those and see, okay, what is the action of those who are following this, a lot of times they fail quite miserably. And we don't necessarily have to focus on that part. We can try to understand how am I failing every day and trying to be the best devotee that I can be. So sometimes we like to face the critique on the outside, but we can also at the same time look inside ourselves and see, okay, what's going on in my life and how can I make changes? What's my plan? Because if you don't have a plan, someone else is going to have a plan for you. So we get a choice. We can either follow the plan of Guru and Krishna, or we can follow some other plan that someone else is planning for us. And if we don't take full shelter of the Shastra, then we'll be splayed. We'll be splayed and none of it will make sense. The other day Maharaj was commenting that if we don't accept these demigods and these demons and their activities that we're being taught in Srimad Bhagavatam, then none of it matters. We have to attempt, at least like it says in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, we have to at least pretend in a way. We have to at least delay that doubt and then take full faith in it in order to understand what's actually happening here. And that's a process in itself. We can't think that we're going to be able to understand or have faith in everything immediately. Some might. Some are given that mercy. But for myself and maybe others, it might take a while to really understand what's happening in the Shastra and being able to see that, okay, the Shastra is saying one thing and I can actually see it happening before me in the material world and how things work. And then we can dive deeper into the purports and really start to understand Prabhupada's view on what's happening, which is based on the succession and is based on Shastra. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you, everybody. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. His Holiness Ganavir Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Premanandi Hari Bol. Namshikapra Tridesha Kripa Sindhu Devacha